Welcome to the J.D. Power Seat here at Auto Revolution. Our guest right now is Kristin Kolodge, the Executive Director of Human Machine Interface at J.D. Power. Kristin, you oversee a lot of the automotive technology related studies at J.D. Power, from the Tech Experience Index study, something new, the Mobility Confidence Index study, which I understand you do quarterly. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's a new study, as you said, that looks at what consumers think about battery electric vehicles and self-driving vehicles. So it is going to give us essentially a pulse on their level of interest, acceptance, and willingness to purchase as we go forward, especially as automakers are spending so much money developing these technologies. We want to understand, are the consumers excited about these technologies, and how is that changing over time?
So where are we on the self-driving car portion of it? What are consumers, what's their mindset now?
At this point in time, their mindset is really in a low confidence level. The numbers, we've run the study 2 quarters in a row, have remained completely stable, stagnant, however you'd like to phrase it, but they have not moved. And out of a 100-point scale, they're at 36, which is
If you got a 36 in a test in school, you're flunking.
Certainly not, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly. People are going to stand up and take notice. So there's a long way to go for these consumers to get on board with this technology. Much of it is centered around that element of trust, as well as just the underlying facet of what is this going to do for me in my life. I don't think that we've done a good enough job in the industry connecting those dots of why are we focused on developing this technology.
So they lack trust. They're fearful in some ways about, is this technology really going to work, or is it going to protect me, or is it going to cost me more money? That kind of thing?
Exactly, yeah. Is it going to cost me more money? What's going to happen? Who's going to be at fault if and when the vehicle gets into an accident, right? If the vehicle is doing the driving, I'm really a passenger. How does that liability work? What's going to happen if the technology fails, right? We've all experienced a situation where our phone doesn't turn on or our computer turns off at the inappropriate time. People are drawing those analogies back to the automotive space and saying, that situation is probably going to happen here. What is going to happen, right? How is that vehicle going to react in that type of situation?
On the battery electric side of the equation of this study, what do people think about battery electric vehicles? Are they very receptive to those?
So in comparison to self-driving, it's a much more positive score, but truly overall, it's really in a take it or leave it type of neutral position at this point in time. So again, on that 100-point scale, battery electric vehicles are at 55 right now. So
55.
Still not, we're not at that passing grade, still not a great score, hasn't moved. Again, this was a score that remained equal to what it was last quarter. So we're seeing the consumers not necessarily getting on board. They recognize the positive attributes of what battery electric vehicles can do for the environment, but when it comes back to the consumers' lives personally, that's where they're not necessarily drawing that direct connection on what is it doing for me personally. And so as a result, they're just not really excited about this technology, right? The environment will work itself out. Maybe my neighbor will get one, but I'm okay.
Now, I know in the past you've made some comments about consumers' acceptance of technology in cars today, technology that they already have in their cars, and that they don't always know how to use the technology. Sometimes they don't even know their car has the technology, or they think their car has it, but it doesn't have it. There's a message there somewhere about the education level or acceptance level of technology in cars now versus what's coming down the road in many years henceforth. So, does all that onus, does it fall on the manufacturers or dealers to educate consumers, or is it really the consumer's responsibility to educate themselves?
First and foremost, it comes back to the vehicle design. And this is the human-machine interface. This is the level of, how do I create this interface, right? This level of how the technology is presenting itself, whether it's a screen, a button, a physical control, you name it. How is that presenting itself in a way that I understand what it's intending to do, what its purpose is, etc., without that level of explanation, right? That's the ideal world, is that I have that level of understanding based on the appearance of the subject, right? So first and foremost, it's design. What we see as a strategic partner in this solution is the dealership, right? And the dealer, where the dealer is taking the time to explain or demonstrate a technology, we see satisfaction with that interaction increasing significantly. So the dealer is very strategic in this realm, but we have to think about that second owner, that owner that wasn't present at that retail delivery, and that's where the element of, we really need to make sure that these technologies are usable and useful on their own accord without needing that type of explanation. So in my mind, it really is falling more on the onus of the design and development, the manufacturer themselves. The consumer, we're seeing that they're interested in learning about these technologies, and they're going to multiple sources to train themselves and try to figure it out. But that is a clear message back to the manufacturers that that level of first-time intuitiveness is not necessarily being achieved.
All right. Well, Kristin, thank you for the time.
All right, thanks, Tina.
This is the J.D. Power Seat at Auto Revolution. Our guest has been Kristin Kolodge.